Lisa, hi. Jackie, hi.
Hello, how are
So
you?
nice to see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Stories Worth Telling. I'm so glad that you are here. And you two ladies are from the Spiritualist Church of Connecticut at Pine Grove. Am I saying that correctly?
Half right.
Half right.
Yeah,
Tell me,
so
make a correction,
we're
please.
from the Ladies' Aid Society, which runs the Pine Grove Spiritualist Camp.
Okay, from the Ladies' Aid Society.
Yes.
Now, the Ladies' Aid Society, let's start right there, because the Ladies' Aid Society, when I was doing a little bit of research on it, they are the women, or you are the women, who brought blankets to the men, to the military men, and probably some military women at the time, who were fighting the North and the South, and you brought blankets to keep them warm, and clean blankets so that they didn't get sick and didn't get infectious diseases, right?
Correct.
That was how it all started. And tell me a little bit about that story.
Well, I don't know very much about it, but I will say that for the most part, one of our front things is healing. It's all about healing and taking care of the environment and those whom we serve, no matter where they may be. So we were big with women's suffrage and that sort of thing. So consequently, as women, we have lots and lots of power. And the one power we had was to use our hands to prepare to help others heal.
Okay, so I'm imagining mending as part of healing, cooking, making things, and then also in a spiritualistic sense, where you're touching each other through massage and what am I missing?
Just healing energy.
Healing energy.
Yes, just laying on of hands, not so much massage, but laying on of hands and allowing the energy of the higher self to come through to those who are in need.
Okay, okay.
So that's what it's all about. It's all about energy.
Okay.
Yes.
And having that positive energy and bringing it out
Yes.
through you. You are the medium, basically.
Absolutely. We are the medium. We are the instrument through which the higher source works.
Okay.
Comes through us and through.
Okay, so it's kind of like Reiki then?
Yeah, you kind of, but similar.
Tell me. I don't know. Tell
it's
me.
basically I would just come and just lay my hands.
So you actually do touch, whereas Reiki, you're just above it and you feel the energy,
right.
but here you actually
Touch.
Okay.
And we do not go below the shoulders because
Shoulders.
the energy flows where it's needed.
Okay.
Yeah, so it comes in through the crown chakra and down to.
We're basically the conduits. We're
Yes.
just there as an instrument to bring through the spirit, bring the healing energy through.
Okay. Okay. And how does this work? Is it something that you find a lot of people are drawn to Pine Grove and to your temple? Is it called a temple?
It is called
a
the
temple.
temple. That is where, our edifice for services, whether they are workshops, whether they are actual religious services, and within our religious services, we do have healing, hands-on healing. We also believe in the continuity of life. So consequently, we include spirit greetings during our services.
And what does that mean?
Spirit means that as a medium, we connect with the higher side of life, with those who have crossed over.
Okay. Okay.
And we bring through spirits of love, messages of love.
Love. It's all about
And,
love.
yes. And to give one hope, to give them closure, but most of all, to give them peace of mind and calmness in their day-to-day lives.
Okay,
Yes,
so you have
exactly.
100 members. Go ahead, Lisa.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's
Okay.
just helping others
To help themselves.
to help
Okay.
themselves, bring in the love and their connection with their loved ones.
Okay, so you have 100 members, but the members all don't live at Pine Grove.
Absolutely not.
You
No,
come
they're
from-
from all over.
All over the state, and you all are gifted as far as receiving.
Yes, everybody's gifted, and that's one of the things we also do here at the temple is educate, to help each of us bring what's within out, so we can all help everybody.
Okay. And you said that you've been doing this since the women's suffragette So 100 years, because we're
And
celebrating
beyond,
and
yeah.
beyond.
This is the 138th
38th year.
year that Pine Grove Ladies Aid Society has been operative.
Okay. And when it first started out, it was kind of a temporary camp, if I'm not mistaken, where you kind of had, for lack of a better word, almost like makeshift and tent kind of.
Yeah, it all started out in tents.
Mm-hmm.
It was all tents, and then as it went and grew, buildings were being put on the areas where the tents were, and that's what brought Pine Grove and developed. And as time went on, the buildings even got larger and brought in. But that whole area was all spiritualist at one point.
Oh, really?
And as time went on, and people passed, and it goes down to generations and then being sold off. But yeah.
And do you find that a lot of the houses have been maintained within the family a couple of generations, or not necessarily?
Not so many now.
It's a beautiful location right behind Camp Nell. Is it Camp Nell right now? So it's in East Lyme, part of Niantic, and then right by the water, and Saunders Point is over here, if I'm not mistaken. But you're all kind of just a stone's throw, for an old expression, from the beach, from beautiful sandy beaches.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is a beach at the Spiritualist camp. It's not widely used. It's not like Niantic waterfront there or McCook's Beach or any of those things, but it's for the residents of that area. And that area, from my understanding, was created by a legislative act.
Oh, what was that all about? I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about it either until a few years ago, but they decided that that area would be
Preserved.
As a spiritualist camp. And that, I want to say probably in the mid to late 1900s.
So it's been maintained. How many residents are there at Pine Grove?
I really don't know because there are 3 separate groups out there, and as we said before, much of the property has been sold off. If it has not been sold off, it's trickled down through the generations, and this one owns that one. And sometimes there are lots of people there, and sometimes there are even fewer. So we aren't sure of that, but our membership does not live at Pine Grove.
So that's kind of extraneous for you because you don't live there and you just go there, and this is where you, do you call it worshiping?
We do worship, yes, and we are open from June to September. And we have a regular church service on Sunday, and then during the rest of the week we have workshops, we have mediumship events, we have lots of things.
Before you go on to that, Sunday worship service, what time is that?
It's at 1:30.
1:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
So you're not necessarily early risers.
I wouldn't say that because again, remember, there are other churches in the state, and the churches usually have services at 10:30.
Okay. So you might go to
a regular spiritualist church
in
and have a service, and then come to Pine Grove in the afternoon to have a little peace and quiet, to have a little enjoyment near the water.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So out of all the I believe it's 6 churches in the state of Connecticut, and we all help maintain the camp.
Okay,
so it's like the camp is like the summer resort for the spiritualists to gather and have further education.
And tell me about some of the workshops. If I was to come, and you said it's open to the public, and
it is open to the public.
So if I was to come, what would I anticipate? What should I look forward to doing and seeing?
Each medium, there's a different medium every week, so they have their set
agenda perhaps,
what they would do. But we've had Mediumship 101, where they come in and they explain mediumship, giving readings, and how in that.
And what is that about? I don't know. Mediumship 101, what would that be?
If you're communicating with the spirit side, there are rules that you need to follow. There is that part of you that needs to connect with your higher self and with those on the other side. So learning to do that in a respectful manner and in a responsible manner is something that we teach. Every person is gifted, as you put it before. Reception is the problem. We growing up in society tend to not want to accept speaking with the other side, but it is a reality, and such of that reality, you listen to your intuition, and it's like, oh, my intuition has some meaning. So we teach you how to open up to your intuition and to those that might be communicating with you from the other side.
Because they have messages.
Absolutely. Positive messages generally.
And do they warn you as well, or?
They will serve you well, because when they give you a message, if they're saying to you, make sure you read the fine print, that's a warning as well as advice. And so it's a positive thing for you, read the fine print. You know, those things. So if you're saying, are they going to tell you, look out for the cat crossing the road, you know, or whatever? No. But they will offer you sound advice, because basically mediumship comes through your higher self.
Okay.
Your higher self is on display.
So you're basically helping people to become, in a way, in touch with their own sense of inner self and their own power and their own positivity and their own ability to heal themselves and to take care of the environment, perhaps, and live a better life and to care for other people.
Absolutely. We live by 9 declarations.
Oh, tell me, what are the 9? Do we have them all memorized?
Where's the book?
Is it, oh, good, we have the book. Is this like catechism?
It's catechism, but the first thing is everybody believes in God,
Right.
and we do too. We believe that every expression of nature is God on display, so to speak. We believe also that once we've left the physical body, we continue to exist. Our personalities continue to exist. We believe that in the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. We also believe that as long as we believe in natural law, which is considered God's law.
So what goes around comes around kind of thing?
That too. But you make your own happiness or unhappiness as you believe. And the point is, and I always say to people, look at it this way. Every decision that you make that makes you happy is a good decision. So you followed that law. But when you make a decision that's bad, then
like if you
unhappy.
go to hurt somebody or seek revenge or don't forgive, that kind of thing?
Well, that kind of thing too.
No, I'm missing it.
But if you choose to, if I say to you, you're going to go out and buy a car, and you choose the red car because it looked shiny rather than your favorite color car, and you're totally unhappy with purchasing that because of the color, then you made that choice. You are responsible for your own being, your own self. So you have self-responsibility as well as free will. So you do what you want to do, but you need to remember that you're responsible. We don't believe in vicarious atonement. We don't believe that Jesus died for our sins. We believe that he was a teacher, a way shower, and that. So every decision that you make is on you, and it makes you either happy or unhappy. And as long as you obey the laws of nature, you're going to always be fine. Retribution, vibration. You listen to the music, it thrills your soul. But if you listen to some dull drums, you're going to be dull and drum.
Right.
So
it's you
there.
do your own. It's on you. You make your choices. We have free will. So whether you want to be happy in life or you want to be unhappy in life, so you need to choose in that way. So if I take this path, because that's going to make me happy, or am I going to take the other path that's going to make me unhappy? That's my choice. And that's what we, try to teach, follow your heart.
And
that was what I thought
happy.
when you said, don't buy the red car necessarily if it was the flashiest one, and then just all of a sudden red flashed into your head that day and you bought it. But if blue is your favorite color and everything you like is blue, then Go with that blue color if that's really what you like, and wait for it if necessary, is what I'm also hearing you say. It may not always be there immediately, but it will come to you over time.
Absolutely.
But if you do take the wrong road, if you do you still have that opportunity to turn it the other way. You choose which way you want and which way you want to go.
Right. One of the last ones is that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul, here and hereafter. So even if you beat up Johnny every day leaving school, you have the opportunity once you reach the other side to make amends for your misbehaviors here on earth plane. So, for all practical purposes, we are a practical religion which lives with love and patience and peace. Unconditional love is our motto,
Well, I think it seems like it's strong and relevant, and probably more relevant today than what we have seen with a lot of things going on. It's been a world more recently, I think, where there's been a lot of hate mongering and discontent. So I'm glad to see
We need to spread the love more.
Absolutely, spread the love. So I'm thinking that this would be especially beneficial for teenagers, because teens sometimes go through some tumultuous growing up, trying to separate a little bit from their parents perhaps and establish their own identity. How does that work in family relationships? And
I think it would work well, except, as you say, teenagers are teenagers and they kind of go through a lot. And they experiment with a lot of different things. But the one thing that I think happens is that, just like me, as I became a spiritualist as I aged, because experience brings about a sense of wisdom and a sense of understanding. And I think we do offer for young people, and I want to call them young people because sometimes we see our children talking to their imaginary friends, and we reprimand them for that. That's a normal process, and sometimes it is their loved ones who are communicating with them, but we make it a bad thing. So we try to help children understand that it's okay to have imaginary friends, but we also, as adults, try to educate them that you don't always have to express where you got, how you got, but you do need to respect what you get. And we only give what we get. When we listen to spirit, we don't color or sugarcoat anything for you. We give it to you like we get it. That's what mediums do. We hear, or and there are various forms, whether we're using trumpets, whether we're using clairvoyance, whether we're using clairaudience, whatever it happens to be, whatever tools we happen to use. And for the most part, we use ourselves, our own minds. We don't deal with instruments outside of us.
okay, that was going to be probably my next question. Like, do you use crystals, or do you use water or other things as sources? No, not really, is what I'm seeing. Okay.
Not really. We do not. We don't condone, but we don't. Say for example, we don't talk about reincarnation as other people talk about reincarnation, because spiritualism is a philosophy, it's a religion, but most of all, it's a science. So having those three components, just as we have the mind, body, and soul, we have to remember that everything operates on a law, and in this case, it's science that we are looking at.
Okay. And if you live in Pine Grove, are you necessarily a part of this, or is it separate, or what is the relationship, I guess, between Pine Grove and the...
It's a family. We'll call it a family. Because, again, there is the Pine Grove Association, which encompasses all the people that are there. And then there is the temple and a cottage that belongs to the Ladies' Aid Society, which is a part of that. And then there's one more, but I can't think of the name of it. It all has to do with Pine Grove, though. You have two entities outside of Ladies' Aid. But we all work together.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're working together.
Okay, so it's a strong cooperation.
Yes.
I'm understanding that. And it's a community unto itself. But then also by the same token, there are no resources independent there. Like you don't have, it's not that big, like maybe 10 square miles or not even that big, like maybe 2 or 3 square miles.
Maybe 3.
3 square miles. So you don't have any stores there. There's no, like, I would imagine though.
In that Grove area, no. No,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
residents.
It's all residents, and but you have services there that are part of the town. So you're part of East Lyme. You're part of
Oh, yeah.
Niantic,
Yes.
right? Okay. So, but it's a very unique relationship, but separate but equal, of course. And
Yeah. And the one thing I like to just share with you is that when spiritualism took over in 1848, or we began the advent of modern spiritualism, things bounced, and I mean, they really bounced. And you were talking about people such as, the Post family, Emily Post and that, like that. And you were talking about people like John Greenleaf Whitaker, people who were involved in the arts, judges and that sort of thing, who were real advocates of people. Now, camps sprung up all over the country, and most times it was a tent camp or something, and sometimes there were as many as 4,000 people on a given Sunday to experience spiritualism, whether it was the Fox Sisters or whatever, it didn't matter. So Pine Grove was just a little one in many, but at least it was a section of a town in the state of Connecticut which allowed for freedom of religion, and where women had a say, and where women showed that spirit was not just limited to the pulpit. And I chuckled because I was thinking of the Scarlet Letter, which was a big thing, and women were falling and flumming over everyone. But at Pine Grove, they were able to express themselves, they were able to give readings, they were able to provide the stability that was needed in a religion that offered science
well, it seems like a
Well, that's what
protected kind of society, a protected environment where people weren't hurting you in any way, and you were just being in your own little entity to some extent. Is that correct?
no one was hurting anyone. Absolutely right. And everything, again, was free will. And people came from around the world, as they do now, to sometimes seek mediumship advice, whatever it happens to be, or to hear from a loved one. But we miss them so much. But what we don't realize is that it's very, very easy to communicate with those loved ones who passed over. If we meditate, if we sit quietly and we listen closely, we can hear their voices, and we can feel them in our presence. Sometimes we notice things. For example, if someone has passed on and they want to sit and talk to us, maybe they sit on the foot of our beds. Our animals, everything has life even after the earth plane.
And at the temple at Pine Grove and in that surrounding area, it's just a peaceful, sacred, safe place to go.
Environment.
Yeah, to just be with you.
Yeah. And you ask about the workshops. Mediumship is only one workshop. We talk about relevant things. We have healing classes there. We have sound healing. We also have, in addition to sound healing, we might want to talk about table tipping. We might want to talk about, and don't ask what it is because it's just table tipping. Okay. But it is a spiritual experience wherein the energies move various things. So anyway, we have various modalities and workshops, and it's not just on healing, it's not just on mediumship, but it's on things that's relevant, even health issues. We talk about those things too. So whatever the medium feels to share with the public from a spiritual standpoint It's what we give. We don't do politics at all.
So you're basically taking a reading. I'm imagining the medium, the person who comes in, who is leading the workshop, is going to take a reading, trying to discern what is needed for this group of people. No,
No, she or he has already decided what that workshop will be about. For example, my workshop last year was dying and what happens after death, once we leave the physical body. So that was my topic for last year. So we explored the definition and the ramifications after one passes. People think they go to purgatory. People think they do this. So we explore those things and hope to come out with a feeling of understanding and a feeling of relief that, oh, gee, Uncle Bob didn't go to
H-E double hockey sticks, is that Bill's expression? Yeah.
Whatever. But we want them to be at peace, because what we have done is basically taken fear out of death. That's what we've done. You should not fear death. You should welcome death. You're going to a world that's just like the world here, except you don't have the pain, you don't have the anxiety, you don't have the agony that you have to deal with on the earth plane. So it's a spiritual world that's as beautiful as you can imagine it to be.
Well, it sounds like it's a very peaceful opportunity and peaceful experience. And if we want to find out more, is there a website, or how do we?
Yes, there is a website. It's pinegrovespiritualistcamp.net.
Okay. And can I see this?
This is last
Okay.
year's brochure.
This is last year's brochure.
And we will
I don't
look
know.
for it, because that's what it's going to look like as soon as 2020 comes out,
Okay.
which should hit, I believe, in May.
May,
Yes.
so it's coming up.
It'll be
And-
early May.
Okay, and there's quite a nice directory of all the workshops that
Yeah.
are going on.
Day
and
by day, gives a little bit of history, gives a little bit of our what's going on the whole year.
Each
Lists
meet-
each church, so if
Okay.
you live in the area of the churches, you can attend those different
so
churches.
Norwich,
those
Old
days.
Greenwich,
Right.
Willimantic, Newington, Mystic.
There's
Well,
a lot of information in that.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a copy, or?
Sure, you may keep
Make it-
that
Oh,
one.
thank you very much. Well, we're just about out of time. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to get in there in our last?
Just come and visit us
Yes,
and be
come-
amazed.
come
Feel
support.
the
Yeah.
love
Okay.
and just experience it.
Well, and that's lovely. So thank you for the invitation, and services open in June, you said. So
Yes.
I will
June
plan.
13th, opening day.
Thank you very much.
you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so
Appreciate you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.